Hi, welcome in. This is Michael, the business loan broker expert. In this video, I want to get into why you are not getting the business loan that you want, desire, you think you deserve, and much more, like 0% interest for 6 to 18 months and up to 150, if not 250,000 in the form of business credit cards. You can liquidate the cash out of these and use them for any investments you choose. Free money, as well as up to 26,000 per W-2 employee, and much more. So why aren't you getting the right and or best business loan for your specific situation now and in the future? So I've spoken a bit about this in the past, and I'll leave information to other resources down below in the description as well as in the bio where to get started in case you're wondering that, and I'll cover a little bit of that as we go along. But there's the 3 C's of capital that you need to know about and that I go through consistently with each client of mine, and that is credit, cash flow, collateral. You either have one of these 3, 2 of them, or none of them. And just underneath it, is business vendor credit. And you can even say it's the startup phase of forming your entity, separating your personal from your business. But a lot of people don't realize that in the beginning. Instead, they start on later on, or somewhere in the middle, or even at the start. But you can be a startup and a non-startup and work on your business credit. And that's where I want to focus on this. So if you're looking to get the best terms and rates out there for your situation, a lot of business owners are completely misunderstanding what gets them approved. And a lot of these term loan, line of credit, not always line of credit lenders, if they're not a bank, they won't always look at this part, but your business credit needs to be formed correctly. I have a few sample business credit reports on my screen and what I've done with clients in the past as well, and also on the personal credit side. But it's time to separate your personal from business. Otherwise, you'll be held more liable and accountable and responsible for things if there's a lawsuit or something goes down under and they have to seize certain property, etc. But what I see the major difference with somebody getting approved for these bank term loans, whether they're online or offline, an SBA loan, even equipment loans, is somebody's credit worthiness, not only just on the personal, but on their business included. So the two. And so this is why you see these bank term loan lenders up to 250, if not 350,000 or more that are lending, saying that you have to meet the minimum requirements of a FICO SBSS score of around 155, sometimes more or less. But they're assessing your business liquid credit. They're looking at your personal, and they're also evaluating your business, myself included, when I look at these things. And I go, what have you built up underneath your business? As a startup, it's very difficult to get these types of term loans. The SBA loans, that's another question. How do you get an SBA loan if you have no business credit established? It all falls underneath your personal, and I do these all the time. If you guys have questions about SBA loans or anything at any point, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to share. I do these every single day. Literally, I'm not even kidding you guys. Like, I'm not just here spewing information. I actually am on the back end working a lot of these things through with my team too. But why can you get a startup SBA 7A loan, but you can't get that bank loan, that term loan, maybe that bank line of credit, and this other thing that you need? Because they're looking at that business credit. If you don't have that liquid credit score of what suffice for that service, then you won't qualify. And you don't have the personal tax returns already, the business tax returns, they're not even filed, there's an extension. And so everything is falling on your personal instead of it falling on your business. Now, to a degree, with like these SBA 7A loans, we'll need to ask for a social security number. It's not all strictly EIN. We'll have to look at your personal credit to see how you're handling your payments. We want to verify eligibility of who the person is, a financial track record, creditworthiness, checking your credit, your FICO, etc. These are all things a part of the process that we need to know how much or what you are as a borrower on your personal side, as well as what you could be or are on your business side. So if you're a startup looking for an SBA 7A loan and don't have that business credit established, you could still get approved, but you have to have the right pieces together, like a business plan, projections, cash flow, assumptions, a 2-year plus detailed plan of who will be operating the business, who will be on your team financing it, who will be doing the whole product services, and there's quite a bit more. But let's go back to this. The fundamental is separating your personal from business. And if you guys don't know, there's this thing called trade credit. Have you guys heard of vendor credit? How many of you in here, by a show of hands, it's okay if you don't, actually know about business credit and beyond just getting a Dun& Bradstreet number, Equifax, Experian, or whatever it is you're doing to get set up? That's just not even half the battle. So for those of you out there saying, well, I have a Paydex score of good, I have somewhere between 70 to 80, 80, 90, or wherever you're at, how many of you actually have the full business credit profile reporting? So what it takes is understanding how to build that vendor credit profile, because like what I see here, I see a lot of differences between some of the clients that I've helped out and looking at the reports, and I can understand what their risk association is. So I can see here what the amount of recommended credit, that they can get based on their profile underneath their business, and they're wondering why they don't get approved for these term loans, these lines of credits that are issued by the banks, and these SBA loans, equipment loans to some sense, depending on the tier. But here I see it, and it's very evident that they haven't built enough vendor credit. They don't have any reports or any accounts showing. So one here that I'm looking at, their credit recommendation is much greater than this person. So I see, if I scroll down here, I can see the actual accounts that they've been building. And right here, it'll show me how many of those vendors are reporting. And so depending on if you're doing fleet credit, store credit, vendor credit, I can tell right here just by looking at these things, the trade payment. I can tell when it was last reported, the date it was reported, payment terms. I can tell all of those things and be able to tell how many accounts are actually being built at what limit amount and how much they've been receiving. And if you have somewhere around 8 to 9 accounts, you generally get above that like 50,000 credit recommendation and limits. So that will increase the amount you can get approved for next time. And so a lot of you haven't really built that part up, and there's a lot more that I can get into with all of this. I actually have another document I want to go into. One second. Okay, so I have another example here that I won't take too much time on, but I'm looking through one on Equifax, and I'm seeing this from a merchant or a person, and I have a few others that are more example related, but I can tell by the company profile and the name, what's their credit risk association, what's their payment index. It's pretty high on that one. And then I can see here, just by scrolling to this part, what are some key factors for the business failure score, and it'll give me a better idea of the potential of that business failing and what it's currently going through. The inquiries, I can tell, I can see quite a bit here, but I won't spend too much time on that. That's also per file basis. But at the end of this, what you guys just need to know, and I'll pivot into the ERC up to 26,000 per employee, is that you need to separate your personal from business. It's all about having the right funding details. And when I mean funding details, I don't just mean revenue, looking at it on an annual gross sales, net profitability. That sounds great and all. You're going to be judged in your business on how much revenue you can create, as well as what's your profitability. And we factor things in like cash flow and all of this. And so separating your personal from business is the first point of contact. That's only some of the battle. And you still have to meet other qualifications if you're looking for those monthly repayments with interest rates somewhere between 7 to about 15% or 7 to 30% instead of getting these cash advance products. It's because of credit. It's because you need to meet at least a 660 FICO Experian credit score. You need to be better in depth with on your personal side, all your scores, as well as on your business side. And if you don't have enough accounts that are reporting, you're not building up those limits enough. So then when you go again another account and you try to go then apply for something, you don't have enough high credit or limits enough to say that if we're going to issue you this SBA loan, then we see you can handle this based upon other factors that you've already created, that you have other credit cards or business credit cards, you've taken out other loans in the past, you have these amount of accounts reporting on your business side, this is what you have reporting on your personal side. And so 660 plus minimum FICO, Experian, yes, they'll look at more, we'll look at more. And then secondly, you want to be generating somewhere around 250 in annual gross revenue with at least 2+ years time in business liquid credit around 155, And there's quite a few more things. Oh, sorry, there was somebody coming up on screen. But cash flow, that's what I look at. I know how to do the calculations on all this. It's not rocket science math. And this is coming from somebody who studied math and chemistry, more of chemical engineering stuff in college, transferred into a few other subjects thereafter. But that math isn't hard for me at all. I did a lot of calculus, inferential, descriptive statistics, and plenty more. But the thing is, when I'm doing these calculations and I'm seeing what your actual debt service coverage ratio is, because that's important when we look at these term loans, then that's where it's most important. It falls back on the EBITDA and it falls back on the total annual debt payments you're making. I can understand debt service coverage ratio on a miniature or on a macro with global debt service coverage on the personal and on the business side. So without boring you into this subject, I'm going to go into another one here, but just keep in mind that if you're not getting approved with the current business, you're applying to get an SBA loan. It's one thing you don't qualify for the personal side, but it's another thing you don't qualify because of your business credit. That's not associated. It's disassociated. You don't even have a good paydex score, and that's a bit of a red flag. We can still work through things depending on when can something report what you're trying to do, but we'll likely tell you we need you to focus on this first, on your personal, and then this on your business, and you don't have that liquid credit score. You haven't built enough accounts. It's very thin credit. It's kind of like on the personal side. Where are your trade lines? Where are the accounts reporting on your business side? What shows us and demonstrates to us that you can build these limits? That's why it's very important for you guys to start working on your fleet credit, any kind of vendor credit, store credit, and I help out a lot of people on this. If you guys do need help with establishing your business credit, and again, that doesn't mean establishing just your 3 business credit profiles and just leaving it there and seeing if it will collect, and it's not. That's not enough to get approved for these. And so what I recommend, I have a free business credit building video series. I'll link you guys to in the bio and or in the description if you're watching this later on YouTube. But these, again, are the reasons why you're not getting approved. And I can go deeper into each one of these segments. I can go even deeper into the credit reports, but I want to go into another topic. And if you guys have any questions at any moment, please feel free to ask them. So let's focus now on what this up to $26,000 per employee credit is. So this is based on qualified W-2 wages, not if it's just yourself. You can literally get up to $26,000 per employee in a refundable payroll tax credit. If you had to shut down partially or full because there was a government mandate and you had to limit your business, that's one way you can qualify on top of having W-2 qualified employees. And then there's other ones like gross receipts had dropped for certain calendar years in 2020 and 2021. I won't get too in depth on that. And there's a certain timeline if you started a business after a specific time frame, but it can be before. If you received the PPP loan, you could still also be approved for this. We just have to make sure you're not double dipping, and we're asking for payroll and tax documents. I spoke about this the other day. I released a video on it, so if you guys want to view it, it's on the YouTube channel. So what I'll do now, let me see if there's any questions, but I'll leave all information for you guys down below in the description. Oh, with the non-business credit association, you could have it, but it may not make sense to you to get a higher type of a service, maybe because you don't have the documentation ready, you don't want to take that much time to get it. So over here, we have the revenue-based, and we have the let's apply your personal tax returns to verify income space. There's collateral-based as well, where you can mitigate that. But over here on the revenue-based, where we're looking at month-to-month bank statements, cash flow is still important, but we do a different cash flow analysis than, let's say, we're doing an SBA loan or a bank term loan type of product. Over here, we're looking at your month-to-month bank statements, and more what matters is also that annual gross revenue. So if we're looking at it from month to month, we're seeing what's coming in versus what's going out, how much comes in versus how much comes out, because we don't want to lend you too much that you can't make the payments based on that. We're not looking entirely like at the net profitability of a business, net operating income, and cost of goods sold, and all those things that I look at on different financials that I take my time to go through, by the way. But over here, you don't have to have that business credit established. Yes, it is faster funding, but that's the thing. If you want funding that's going to last for 2 to 3, 5, 7 years of your choice, working capital, growth and expansion, equipment purchases, related, whatever that may be, depending on where we go, then having that business credit established along with your personal profile, The financials you'll have to supply, personal and in business. We're going to do a cash flow analysis and more. See if your business is profitable. Seeing if you can handle on this extra debt we can give you. Can we even refinance, consolidate? And so over here, business credit is less of a concern, but you are getting medium to higher interest, medium to higher rates, more so-called factor rates. There are these term loans / advances that blend in now where they're based on factor rates between 1.19 to about 1.69 or 1.55, kind of in this market. We're being more fair depending on that lender too. But you can kind of say that's 30% interest, 1.3, 30% interest, not entirely. It's a factor rate. It's calculated different. It's not amortized the way you think. And so you can convert it into an APR and try to justify it. It won't make sense though. When you're trying to justify it that way, what needs to be justified is the benefit exceeding your repayment. For a lot of you in this bubble here that I've helped out a lot of clients, you guys are like, well, I don't want those rates. Well, you don't have the time in business. You don't maybe have the personal credit. You don't have the business credit. You don't have the revenue. You're not set up correctly. Your entity, you don't have the business address. You don't have the business phone number. You're not listed in the 411 directories. You're not listed with all the business credit bureaus. And you want this, but what do we need to do to bridge you from here to that? We need to work on business credit. We need to work on the foundations that you went away from. If you haven't built it all, then we need to work on those parts, forming that structure of your business, what looks more desirable to a lender, and so forth. So over here, no business credit needed. It's looked heavily more on your personal credit, but it's not personal credit exactly related because it's revenue based. We don't care as much about the personal credit, although we'll look at a few things with the soft pull, but we care more about the revenue that the business is generating. And that's how we'll lend you. Instead of having to report to business credit bureaus and doing this and that with these services, they would very likely not do that. Sometimes, but very rarely do you see them reporting to the business credit bureaus. These don't even also report to the personal credit bureau's timely payments. They only report if you didn't make those payments or if you defaulted and a few things, then it could look bad with the past default judgment in place and all that. And sometimes they do report timely payments, but for a lot of these, it's unsecured, so you don't have to worry about a lot of that. It's when you get into this aspect of it where you're having more of a concern. There's a lien on all your business assets. There could be a lien on a home. No collateral, but we need to do a few things. Maybe we don't. But you have to understand that if you don't have the business credit profile, how are you going to go from, I started my business, I just need startup funding, that I want an SBA loan, but I can't get it. Even the micro loans, you can't get it. The Community Advantage Program, nope, can't get it. Takes too much time or just can't at all. Okay, so we have to work on personal credit and distinguishing that from your business credit. Once you start building your accounts underneath your business credit profile, then you'll have more exposure to different providers and different kinds of trade credit. And then from there, then you grow into another one. Like I tell a lot of people who want gas cards and fleet cards, and I told this to a business owner the other day, is if we're gonna, I'm not gonna start naming all those gas cards and all the rewards and all this stuff, but there's a difference between having an installment and having something that's revolving. And if your business entity and everything is instructured, I'm not saying you're just listed with the business credit bureaus, like your business entity, everything matters. The formation of your business address, the phone number, I help people do this as well. That's why I have my free business credit building video series. And I use a system that's more automated and software related. So if you guys are interested in that, you guys can view my content first on it and then get like a sneak peek demo on how it all works. And you guys can understand, okay, these are the accounts that I need to build. This is where I need to apply to. This is how much I need to purchase, or this is what I'll need to purchase for then my limits to increase. So when I start building my business credit profile, and then I'm getting a few other accounts reporting, then when I have a more established business and I want to take that to get an SBA loan, then I can do it. But underneath all of that, you're still here. You're trying to go here. No, we're here. And so you're only going to get credit. Cash flow, there isn't any. Collateral, besides a home, that's different. Now, do you have 401k, IRA? We can do a rollover. We can do stocks, marginal accounts. There's a few other scenarios. And then over here, we have a personal / startup loan where we can do an installment / term loan, a personal line of credit, and or personal and or business credit cards, a combination of them, if it makes sense. So over here, you might be able to get something based off of the personal tax returns. and that you have no time in business, but you require to have at least 5 trade lines. See, there isn't a catch to any of this. The catch is that the person isn't working on this, and perhaps you didn't know about it, and now you're trying to start a business and you only have perhaps student loans or one auto loan, and there are no other trade lines. There's no accounts reporting. It's too thin. How are we going to lend you based on something you cleared 10 years ago? And you haven't even updated, even if it's up to date with one trade line. Like, we're not going to lend you for 50,000 if you haven't shown us that you can even take somewhere around that or make the payments on what you've done in the past. So you have to use a cosigner. You have to do something where you bring on another person. Maybe it's a business partner or a friend or a family member who's not associated with the business with this type of situation, and have them apply with their own individual credit if they're more than happy to take on the debt to help you, if they trust you enough to do that. I wouldn't trust somebody until I looked at their personal credit profile. What have you done in the past outside of your personal credit profile? Have you established anything like business credit? No. Okay, personal credit. What have you done? Who have you paid? It's also about morals. So it comes down to also the character. The credit is moral, it's character, okay. But I care about the person too, how they think, how they process, how they organize. What are their values, their aspirations, their beliefs, and more? Are they ignorant? Are they stubborn? What is a pattern that they've shown where they can be going down, and where are they up? So these are all the things that I'm asking myself. What would be my return on that investment? What do the day-to-day activities look like? When would you be generating a profit margin of this, a gross profit margin of that? What is your outcome in the next 3 months? What do you think you'll be with this money in 2 months, 1 month, in a week, 3 days from now, a year? So again, guys, there's products here. Like I always like to say, you're starting your business, you're peeling a corner. Oh, wait, we missed the business address. We missed the business phone number. Okay, well, you're set up as a sole proprietor. Okay, we start there. All right, go ahead and build. But you'll be limited. Watch. And then over here, and you could build your business credit, just so you know, with your EIN, in case you guys were wondering about having everything set up. Yeah, you want to have those business credit bureaus you're set up with, of course. Because if we're looking at credit cards or we're looking at something different, we're reporting this to Dun & Bradstreet and there's nothing set up, we're going to need to have that first, and you're missing out on opportunities to build that business credit profile. So over here, you're peeling the corner, I helped you to do that. Here, we're now at the startup phase. Whatever we did here, we accumulating a business plan, a product market strategy, everything done. Okay, we're here now on the startup phase. Is it this personal lump sum / startup loan? Is it a combination of things? That I'll know when we do a soft credit pull. We can do that. I can do that. And then over here, now you move up another level. And my question is, have you separated your personal from business? If not, we've had to do that in the beginning. If not, we got to do it here, or we got to start doing it somewhere right here where you can only get the advances. So we're separating that profile. Okay, we're building a lot of startup options. Great. Personal from business. Now we've differentiated that. What's our next service? Revenue based. Okay, what's that revenue based? All right, we're personally guaranteeing it. A lot of this stuff is personally guaranteed, even SBA loans. Get used to it. Be accountable. Be responsible. No excuses. And so here, well, where's the EIN only business loan? There's all these people looking for, where's the EIN only, the social security number? Don't have to put in the application, and EIN only, it just doesn't exist. And I'm not going to get into that whole subject right now, but unless you have corporate credit cards and you're building your trade credit, that would be the way realistically to do all of this. And there might be some loopholes here and there where you do things with credit unions, but very little do you get as much. And the requirements and what you're going to have to put down and all of this stuff, it's going to become a hassle, and I'm sure you guys don't want to go through that. So very hard to get, usually doesn't work. So over here, revenue based. Oh, well, I'm doing 200. This is what I get. Oh, but I'm doing 700,000 a year. Yeah, but you have no business credit established. But I'm doing 700,000. I'm doing around 50 to 100,000. Yeah, we'll see if we have the bank statements. Then I'll know, because you're probably only looking at deposits. Deposits are not the same thing as revenue. So once I look at everything, I go, well, you told me you had a $20,000 a month 3 months ago. Well, I looked at the bank statements and you barely cleared 5,000. Not only because of the deposits, because of everything I saw. So you're doing a 5,000 and above month. You're doing over 30,000 here, 40,000 there. Based on that $5,000 month, you want to get 100,000 in a loan at least to start with. And that's not working. You have to build to that. And yes, we don't have to look at business credit, but you have to understand, are you over leveraged or are you not? You don't come to complain to me. and do those things. I had a person the other day on a call with me who told me, hey, Michael, you're the expert. They shouldn't have to question you. Yeah, it's okay. If you question me on the knowledge on all of this and your specific situation, yeah, but if you're questioning that, like, well, no, this isn't right and this isn't, go feel free to do that. I don't mind if you go somewhere else. It just shows you're not for me. And a lot of people, they stick with me because I'm very loyal. I'm very truthful about what has to happen if you want to build to another level. And I'm very sincere. I actually give you guys the benefit of the doubt. My personal life and my family would tell you that I'm a very punctual, disciplined person, nice, educated, and I know these things very well for being in the industry for long enough. But until you go, well, I have 700,000. Oh, well, I'm generating 150,000. I should get an SBA loan, don't you think? Well, how about your business credit? What do you have there? What do you don't have there? All right. Well, how about your personal credit? It's going to require higher credit. It's going to require cash flow. It's going to require profitability. Yes, there are micro loans, SBA loans that are express loans, standard loans. We can get up to 150, if not up to 350,000 instead of up to 5 million. Yeah, but those require a little bit more hurdles, and you're probably restricted on how you use those funds. And why would you want to get that much only to have 10 years? You got 50,000 approved for, but for 10 years, I get it. There's a place for that, but you go, why would I want to get a minimum amount of 50,000, hold on to it for 10 years? It's because you want to be prepared for something that will come up. It's not for the person who says, I need this money to then get 200, 300% return. See what I'm saying there? Like the person who takes this money, who's putting it in their restaurant to hire more employees, what kind of effect does that have? What reverse effect does it have? Adding a gazebo, adding a patio set where they're going to bring in an extra 100 people, but they're not measuring by finishing their plates. They're measuring it on different things. That's not how you measure exactly if your business is functioning or not. By opening up another restaurant when your first one is already failing or it's not in a position to, do you think opening up another restaurant is going to shadow? It only exposes you to more. And now you have more things to do and you can't even stay on top of one. So what you have to understand, and I'm going to go to the comments here if there's anything, and I'll close up here in a second, is there are levels to this. There's really nothing that gets by me when I'm communicating with someone. And if they're angry, it's because they're angry. It's because of the character. It's misinformed, a misunderstanding. It's a belief. It's an assumption. It's certain values, aspirations that don't maybe align, or they do, but it's normally the character. The character, guys, it's what's getting in the way. With me, I have my things together. Literally, I do. I'm here to helpful. I'm here to help you, and I'm all for it, helping you stimulate the economy and do what's in your best interest. But don't think for a second that if I find a character that's causing too many problems, then I won't help. Because it's proven to me time and time again that character gets in the way. Now, you leave that out the door. I'm not saying I wouldn't work with somebody who is cocky and all that, but you just leave it out the door. I may not like you as a character. I won't tell you that. I just have different beliefs and values. Money doesn't change me. Doesn't matter if I make 200 to 300,000 a month or per year. I'm still the same person. I donate. I'll do these things. I care because I've been through a lot of hardships. I know how to take care of my finances and my money, but I'm not going to put myself in a constraint, secondary, not primary constraint, where I have to change who I am. Does that make sense to anybody? So it's more than just getting funding. If you guys haven't heard me say that already, it's like read between the lines. It's more than just getting funding. It's about building the foundations. If you guys don't have that business credit profile right now done, that's your first priority. That's getting the vendor credit. That's getting those profiles to get reporting those accounts, making those purchases, and then getting equipment purchases. You're going to find out like soon enough how this just changed everything for you. And so there's little Jimmy, there's Sally, who went up from here to here. They graduated. Now I'm helping them get an SBA loan. Look at you. 2 years ago, we were working on things. I got to know you very well. And now you're here at this level. How did you get to that level? Because we went over the fundamentals. Not just trying to skip over, well, I don't want a cash advance of 1.65, factor rate 1.55. Your risk is too high. And so why would somebody give you a longer term when your risk is too high? You don't have these things in place. So let me go to the comments here, guys, and I'll close up soon. I know I have to scroll through quite a bit because people have joined. So if I do miss anybody, I do apologize. Give me 1 second. There's quite a bit. I gotta scroll through. So, good question. I wouldn't, like myself, or as you were asking if I use it myself personally, I don't myself have to go through credit repair. My credit's pretty high on all three. I won't get into that and how I got to all that right now. But, and I don't want to just start throwing names out there, but because of because of the relationship I have with them, I will say it. So, first of all, before I do, just know that I have to outsource this. I used to do a little bit of this with software stuff, and I can get back to it sometime down the road, but I want to focus on other things. This is why I have to outsource some of the things, but I can have everything all in-house as well. Done it before, but I want to focus on other segments and I have other businesses as well. So what I'm doing currently is partnering with somebody who does it day in and day out right now. And his name is Steve. Very reputable. I actually speak to him quite a bit, and personally and in business. And him and I are very loyal to one another. He is a very trustworthy, loyal person, and he's been in the industry for many years. And I want to give a shout out to Compassionate Credit Repair. That's who I recommend. I'll give you that name. Now, what I recommend is first going through me. There's a number, of course, you guys can give a call to. Feel free to do that. The number will be listed on the site. But I also made a video review. If you guys look into the bio or in the description down below, it'll take you over to my personal review video on that. And I go ahead and speak about the benefits and the features to it. I go ahead and highlight some things. And just know that the costs are low. They're around $150 per month. Very reasonable and effective. Other ones you would do a lot. I just had a name again of a different credit repair company, but I've seen those, been through those. Other clients have as well. And I myself wouldn't recommend them. Perhaps more fees. It's not as efficient, the reporting, the type of dispute process, and then extra stuff that you need to add that you don't need, like add-ons. But yeah, that's one that I recommend. It's very efficient. I have a lot of people right now that are going through it and have gone through it already, people that stay on board. But it's also about knowing your credit profile, and without knowing exactly what do you need credit repair for, then that makes it harder. So I don't know if that's something you want to share here, but if you guys go watch the video on it, and in the description I have the questionnaire that I put together myself for the credit repair. And so what you do is you submit it, I'll evaluate it, analyze it a bit, and then I'll get in contact with my team on that. And then what happens is Steve will normally reach out in about 30 minutes to an hour on a quick phone call just to go over how it works, documentation that he would need, and the credit service agreement. And it's very standard. I see this stuff too on the back end, and he's shown me these things, and I know what's happening. So in case you have any questions, you can ask me. And if anything, I can go back to Steve on it. He'll have a little bit more on it. But you guys can search Compassionate Credit Repair. Really do recommend them. I can't say enough good things about them. And you guys know me. If you guys have been following me for some time, I don't take less. I do more than what I say. That's who I am. And so I'm a very observant and keen person. So this is who I would recommend for it. And again, there's a number. He may ask you, hey, how did you hear about us? You can say my name. That's what people have done. I don't prefer you guys do that. Like, don't just give a call like that. I don't think anybody should. You guys should just go through my questionnaire first, and I'll connect you with them, and then I'll have that information on my back end. He'll be more prepared than just getting a quick phone call, or him or his team. But yeah, that's what I recommend. And you can even say my name before he even brings any of it up. And in case you're wondering, my first name, it's Michael, last name Granados, or you can say Granados. But feel free to mention me. I'll take care of you as well as he will. And again, I'm here for you no matter what. Don't worry. I'm not like this, what do you call it, a scammer or a trespasser. None of that. You don't have to worry about that with me. And then also on the side, it may say something like sort out my credit or sort out your credit. Just an extension of, but it's through Compassionate Credit Repair, through Steve. And again, I have a process, and I told him, like, our process is, that's what you guys have to follow, is if you watch the video or you saw it through a questionnaire you submitted on my site. And that's another thing. If you want to learn more about credit repair, I'll have the full details in written. So if you fill out my questionnaire and I give you a response back on your best funding option and options, I'll include the credit repair. You'll see all options, so you'll have no question whether you can qualify or can't. At least you'll know they're there. And so you're just not out there searching for and applying for anything and everywhere. You shouldn't be doing that. Racking up all of these inquiries, even if they're soft inquiries, you're doing yourself no favor by doing that at all. And you're just trying to nitpick and trying to shop around and seeing if I heard about this company. That's not what you do. You have to get in touch with someone like myself because I know the internal workings of a lot of these organizations and these lenders and what they're looking for. So if you're just going, oh, I heard about you. Okay, well, I'm just still looking around. And then you go here and apply there. And, oh, okay, yeah, I'm still looking around. That person over here may decline you because they're seeing you're shopping around. We can tell. And we know you're not a serious borrower, or we're seeing that there may be red flags with their file that we don't want to take any responsibility with. And so those are issues that come up a lot of. Correct. So TikTok here doesn't always display my bio for some reason, as well as others. And then, well, it's probably because some of the content that I created, they're not fascinated with. Yeah, it's a very restrictive platform. And so I've been building something on others, just in case you guys were wondering why I don't spend a lot of time here, because they don't want to see a lot of me saying things about financial, right? Like I have to say it in a specific way, and I have to really take the time to craft that content. And so in other channels, like on a Facebook, I had one video not too long ago who have reached over like 300,000 views. Got a lot of great followers from it, but it's not about the views, the likes, or the followers, or any of that. For me, it's about the impact. And I knew that by getting this in front of more people, that I want to make a change. And the people that were fortunate enough, I'm very grateful for and thankful for, that shared my content. I don't take that any for granted. I'm very appreciative of it. And I would even comment to some of these people who would share my videos. I say, thank you very much for sharing. And it does mean truly a lot, because a lot more people are aware of getting it through the right resource. It's not just, well, hey, there's an option. No, it's getting it through the right resource. And that's also what people need to get into their head, that when they go and apply for this, it's no different if you're applying for a home mortgage, you're going to get rental properties, a car loan. You have to understand, if I go to a dealership, okay, what is my preference? I'm a Honda buyer, I'm a Jetta buyer, I'm a Mercedes buyer. Okay, am I changing my patterns up? Why am I changing those? Or what am I trying to do? So you just don't go and spray and pray everywhere hoping that you get the answers and you're applying to each and every one of them. When they specifically service a specific type of person, you got to understand those things. And too many people come to me, whether they started with me or not, they go, Michael, is this true? Does this work? Does this not? But you guys understand that. So yes, bio, description down below. And if it's not my credit repair form right away, or the video that you watch, I'll put it in the questionnaire, like I said. You don't have to worry about things with me. Believe me. I am a mathematical, system-minded person who runs a digital marketing / lead generation business, an agency there. I have affiliate marketing. I have that in the health space. I've also built it in a few others. And I have a few other ventures. This is my primary focus, though. I'm in this market every single day. Funded a lot of clients, a lot of different backgrounds. And I see it too many times again and again, the business and personal credit part. That's what needs to be focused on first. That is the foundation. On top of the entity, on top of the structure, separating your personal from your business. And I know a lot of people have questions on LLCs, S Corps, and S corporations, double taxation versus not getting double taxed. A lot of advantages to protecting your assets and not being liable. You don't have to have multiple LLCs for different rental properties. You can have it as for one, unless you have multiple different entities, and protecting different assets for those establishments. So it just depends on what you're doing. But my question for many of you is, like, why are you seeking credit repair? That's what I want to know. And you have the answer to it, of course, but why now is most important. Why are you acting on doing it right now? And it's evident to me on those answers. But what I tell people, if you're trying to go from like bad credit, low 500s, even less, to then about a 700 range, it can take somewhere around 10 to 12 months to achieve. But it depends on those payments, those late payments, how many, when did they occur, trade lines, and some other things we have to look at for sure. Does anybody have any questions before I shut this down? And I like that question that you asked. I normally don't say who I use for credit repair in this one, because it's not like I don't want to reveal the secret sauce, right? Secrets. the play on word that marketers use. But It's because I want to make sure you guys go through a specific set of ways, and that's it built enough for you guys to say, hey, I want to take action on that. Because if I just give you guys the name of it, it's not as hitting home as if it were put in a different way. But other times I will say, like, there's the Ondex of the world, there are the Voxes of the world, there's the Spartan Capital Groups of the world, Everlasting Capital, all of these. But that doesn't mean you go over there and just apply, does it? No, it doesn't mean that. I have those answers. So if you just go and apply, you're racking up inquiries that are unnecessary, and you're not going to find your answer. And then you figure out, you're like, well, why didn't I get that answer? Well, they didn't tell me why I got this approved. Well, you're not, because you're not working with somebody like myself who has the answers to all that, for one. And then two, it's just, why would they reveal that information out to you? They don't have to necessarily report it all. So just be very cautious of that. 30 more seconds and I will get going. I did a live today, guys, by the way, on YouTube. So I'm kind of tired by now. But I went into the PPP loan alternative. If you guys are wanting to see all these options, I even give you guys a free document there. Feel free to go to that video. And in the description, there will be the ERC credit. That's the great alternative. There are more that I reveal. And in that document, you can pick it up for free. Save it. That's it. You don't got to put in your email address unless later on I do. And what this does is you can look, and I have to go update that document like I said in the video. But in this document, it shows you all the best options. I can show you more in the questionnaire, by the way. I can show you even more options, but I'll tell you, if there's 5 term loan options here, the first one's the best one. The second one's not best. Third one doesn't work. Second one doesn't work. First one's best. Less expensive. Start there. So I show you guys multiple options whether you can or can't qualify. Good question. You can type in my first and last name. So Michael Granados. There might be another channel that comes up too. I've created other stuff for like health related stuff, but you can type in my first and last name. And if you go through one of the links in the bio, there should be a video. But here, if I go to my handle, yeah, you can just type in that or my @ which it's my first and last name, ended by 7909. So MICHI, A as in Adam, E as in Edward, L, Granados, G as in Gary, R as in Randy, A as in Adam, N as in Nelson, A as in Adam, D as in David, O as in Oscar, S as in Stephen, and then 7909. That could be my handle you type in. And then I have grown a decent following. I know a lot of the views can go up and higher, but it's not about the views to me. Like I said, other people are like, well, you don't get enough views. You must not be good at what you do. That's not the reason. I understand the history of this platform, and it's not once what it used to be, how they look at the algorithms. So if you do see a viewer count that's less, that doesn't necessarily, and I have other content that's a lot more, by the way, higher, like 20,000 plus content, video views and all that. But a lot of it, you might not get it, but it's the very, like, you can't find that information, basically. You can go search for it. They're going to give you a surface level view, but with my content, it's actually very truthful. And I get into the underwriting, I get into the different services very deeply because I'm an expert at this. I'm not just a glorified referral partner. There's a time and a place for that, but I'm actually doing a lot of stuff too on the back end and reviewing documentation. And there's a lot you guys don't see. But this is what I'm doing. And you guys can see that. Sorry, I got a LinkedIn notification. But here, I'm going through some of my videos here, like I released. Like that video doesn't have a lot, but it's very impactful. And it's very revealing that I haven't seen another people creating that. Here, of course, that video content wouldn't get that much. But that doesn't mean it's bad or anything. And it's high quality, whether it's my phone or not. And it doesn't matter if it's video production. And later on, I may get into that, but I don't need that. I want authenticity. I want you guys to realize that without that whole microphone video production and whatnot, first understand what is being said in that video, how it's being said. That's what's most important. How many of you agree with me that what matters more than what you see is what you hear and what you don't? More important than that is what you don't hear. That's who I am. I told one of my team members today on a call, very shortly, I didn't spend too much time. I needed to get to the point because I have a few things to do. And it's about what you don't hear. And if somebody's already agitated, that's not my place to communicate with them. And I wouldn't want to get on a call with them to go over that, because if they're already showing me this on an email, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to, sometimes I have to, but not always, to tell somebody that they got declined or we did it this way because of this. It's not my place to fulfill on that. And I don't want to be put in that position to ever have to do that, if that makes sense. So if I could already tell the tonality, why do you think sometimes I don't get on a call with someone? Why do you think I don't get on a call with somebody who can't even do the basic thing, which is fill out a questionnaire? Well, I don't want to get bombarded. I don't know if I'm putting my information correctly. Let me justify it is. And I'll go through that. Why I do it this way. Because if I were getting on phone calls with everybody, I would never get anything done. I don't even like getting phone calls. This is why I did a whole lot of digital marketing agency. This is why I was my aptitude was in my mouth and my systems. I'm like the back end guy, but I'm here having to put myself in front of video. If I can do it, you can do it. I love data engineering. I love iterating. I love all that stuff that comes with the marketing part. I can do everything on the front end exceptionally well, but I prefer to be the person behind looking at the numbers, seeing how I can better A/B split test this project. If I have a 22% conversion rate on a high landing page, okay, how do I get from 22% to 25? And if I did adjust from 22 to at least 3 more percent, what would I need to change based off of this information that was given? This is how they made contact on that page. And then if I increased it to 25%, how would I increase my lead funnel? And what would be my conversion rate after that? And then what would that do in terms of increasing my revenue, increasing my bottom line? So I'm very cognizant of these things, guys. And these are the things you guys have to learn as a business owner. And your finances, you have to learn these things. So let me move up here 1 second. Nice. How long have you been in credit repair? I actually work with someone right now that I'm very loyal to. I'm willing to hear you. You can send me an email if you would like to, and I'll have it on hand. I'm not saying yes to it. I'll look it over. But I just want you to know too that I have a guy right now that I'm very loyal to. And that's the key word, guys. Loyal. Loyalty matters to me more than anything. I don't care if you have the best credit repair. Well, it's this and this and this. And it has all these little tooly subjects. I know when somebody is spooing to me because I know what marketing is. I know what sales are. I'm better at marketing than I am at the whole, what do you call, closing. And I'm not a salesperson by nature at all. But I learned the skills for what I'm doing, and I have to go out there and market. And I know how to put stories together. I know how to shatter beliefs and rebuild them, misconceptions, misunderstandings on certain things. And I know how to create that desire in something. I know how to do neuro-linguistic programming. But am I doing that unethically? Heck no. Do I do it all the time? No. When it makes sense, okay. But I don't push if I don't have to. So when somebody out there is in their vendor and they're trying to give me something, I know exactly how and what's not being said. I'm listening more than I speak to that person. And based off those things, I may or may not say something. So just be very cautious, though, about who you guys get your information from. Let me have a look. Thank you. There comes an email from the man himself, Neil Patel. And then here, yeah, I still haven't received it. I think I got to give it a second, though. When you submitted my form, did it take you to my thank you page? Did you see a video on it? Guys, when it comes to making business decisions, the reason why I appreciate you, I'll see if it comes in a second. The reason why I make better decisions now than I ever have, do you guys know the 3 reasons why? Why I don't let things get to me, why people don't get to me. They don't even get to me easily. They think they do, but they never do. Because this is strong, that's one thing. But the 3 reasons why, for one, I've become more patient than anything. And with patience comes delaying instant gratification. With patience comes becoming a better listener. Number 2, I'm open-minded. I don't close down, whether I like it or not. Number 3, I accept and give feedback. There's more to this too, but for those 3, patience, being open-minded, giving feedback. Those are what separate you, me, from everybody else. But aside from these traits on the character side, punctuality, discipline, persistence, consistency, attitude, and effort. I'm like pointing to here like there's another finger. Effort. So does anybody have any questions? No, that's my, okay, that's a good thing you brought up. It's Viral Funding Solutions. So you could just type into the the URL, viralfundingsolutions.com, but you don't have to go there directly. You can just go to my questionnaire. Viral Home-Based Pursuit is an extension. So that's a project that I started a long time ago. I still blog on it. That's like my blog. And I'll try to blog later on my Viral Funding Solutions one. But I separated them because I was building out another business. That's one of my other businesses where I built out a lot of content, tools, software, and different services that I've used for my health program or my health business that I did in the affiliate space. So I have other websites out there too. In fact, today I have to renew one of my, I thought it was an automatic renew. I got to go in there and renew one of my portfolio sites. So it doesn't look like you submitted it. Probably you went through a different place. But if you go to viralfundingsolutions.com, then you can click on the apply now, which is a questionnaire. I should change the name. But it's a questionnaire, and then that'll take you to the right place. Got it. Yeah, for viralfundingsolutions.com, apply now takes you to my questionnaire. Two of them you can select, one of them out of the 2 select, and then it will take you to my questionnaire. So here I'm just looking at my business credits free video series that I have. I have an intro video for about a minute. And then if you scroll down here, step 2, watch this free video series below. And I detail why building your business credit is super important. And I have a story to share. That goes for about 6 or so minutes. And then there's free content underneath here you can pick up to start helping you build vendor credit with certain vendors. Part 2, watch the 7 steps below to getting your business credit ready. And then I'll give you a free document that I've actually updated. So right here, I opened it up in an external window and updated for 2023. The 8 steps or so for getting business credit ready fast and properly for a new business, or if it's not a new business and you have to go back. And I highlight things like, and it could be separated in a different sequence, but things like opening up a business account, getting the EIN number, for different ones and what you're looking at different entities for, deciding on a domain name and getting your website set up, setting up your business email, setting up your business phone number. And I give you guys my recommendation for CIPRA ones, like getting your business address, where would I do it? And here, registering your DUNS number for free. And there's a video on my video series here, if I open it up, where I go into getting your Dun & Bradstreet profile, your Experian, Equifax, or whatever else you need to get done with. Then underneath here, I go into the 5+ trade lines to get net 30 accounts. Underneath here, there's more information, extra resources on getting fair credit to good to excellent credits, business credit cards. Does anybody have any questions? I would always say feel free to send me a DM on my back channel. I don't even use the word back channel too much. But you guys can feel free to do so. I don't always spend a lot of time on TikTok. You guys can go to viralfundingsolutions.com. Anything and everything you guys need to know about will be in there. There will be free content for you to pick up, services you guys can check out, view some videos, go through some blog posts if you need to, and really anything you guys need to. And I connect you with the best lenders, in case you didn't know this, the best lenders and underwriters. So I'll leave it open again for another about 30 more seconds. Hopefully you're going through the right one because there's people out there that create. Did you go to my site first at viralfundingsolutions.com? Yeah, be careful, guys. There's a lot of people who create profiles. I mean, it's just absurd. And you went through, was it the apply now, or did you scroll down to where it said how it works? I can click there too, and it'll take me to the page. Did it say at the top of it, get the funding your business needs fast with the help from a real expert? If that's the case, I know what I need to check. 1 second. My hosting might have done this to me. I have to make sure my lead generation form is up because sometimes there's a hosting issue and my team will go in there. I used to do a lot of this, guys. Like, I always recommend outsourcing hosting stuff where they can help you on the back end because it becomes a living nightmare. I would be up until like 1 a.m. a lot of times. This might be it. Hold on. Well, there is an update, but that doesn't affect if my form is working or not. But what I'll do here is not that. Watch, it'll tell me I have 11 plugins. Oh, you went through the wrong one. So the one that you went through probably the quiz questionnaire, didn't you? Is that the one? You were asked to select based on revenue, based on this. The one you need to go to, and that'll display in a different place. That's why I didn't see it. So what will happen is you want to go through the questionnaire that I'll ask you first, last name, input it in the fields. So again, you want to go back to that page instead of clicking the button that you saw on my homepage. And I'm going to probably change that over time to make it go to this. But what you want to do is go back there, click on the apply now. It'll take you to my questionnaire, by the way. That's it. So get the funding your business needs fast with the help from a real expert. You select if it's a non-startup business or a startup business. So I'm a non-startup, so I'll select that one. And then here it will tell you, here's the form. And you'll see it and go, okay. So I'm going to test it myself just to make sure it is working now that I'm here. And it did go through. So it should be working. And I think you did go to you did, like you said, you went to the other one. So yeah, when you get a chance to, if you're not there yet, you can go to that questionnaire and fill it out. It's also in the bio description if it's there in the bio, especially on this platform. I hate saying that sometimes TikTok doesn't show it. But that's where I would start. And you'll have a spot where you can put in the describe your request. What do you need to use the funds for? And if you need credit repair, I would add that in that as well. I'm going to actually change the character field. That's what I was meaning to do just the other day. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to edit with my Thrive Architect. Go into my describe my request section. To my sidebar field, apply that, edit down form elements, and minimum character count, let's do 1,000. Now that'll reset my test, which I'm okay with because I just recently upset it. I just recently reset it. So here I'm going to change that variation. But you should be able to do all this while I'm editing, just in case you were wondering. Be able to go in there and submit it. So does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns on anything? Yeah, but if it said you don't qualify, yeah, it's highly likely that revenue base won't work, and you're assured of that credit and business credit. That'll be what has to align. Something came in. It might have been from me though. Let me see. Yeah, that was me. So if you're still submitting it, you probably have another tab open. Yeah, get that submitted, and I should have an email. I see my own that I submitted here, but it's viralfundingsolutions.com. And so what I'm doing now is I'm going into my page conversion rates on all of this. I'm split testing the headline on this one, leaving all other variables the same. So here I'm going to go to edit form. Got it. So you got the thank you page video that says, hey, you should be hearing from me, and then underneath here, but in the meantime, watch this video. That is me too, who created all this. In case you guys are wondering, man, he outsourced this work to. Who did he outsource it to? I do it. Like I said, again, I know how to do all this stuff. I'm very good at building websites, SEO related for blogs. I know how to appear in front of the search engines. I know how to find content that is decaying for the last 6 months compared to the last previous months, 6 months, and make changes. I know how to buy these kinds of websites and rebuild them if I need to, but I don't spend time on that right now. Maybe later on, I'll get back into that. But here, I just made that change. Now I have to go do it with my other form because I did it with this one. I have to go do it with my other one. So what I'm doing now, and I'll verify if you sent that in a second, but I'm opening up this contact form, and I'll go into my Thrive Architect the same. Okay, here it is. I see it. And am I speaking with myself? Same name? Cool name, by the way. How much business credit have you built? If you don't mind me asking. So I'm right here now editing this character count. I had somebody the other day go, oh, that couldn't fill in the whole field because I'm not giving you so much. But I'll make this change now. And then I gotta do it to my startup landing page too. So I'll do this one. Got it. Okay. So like no reporting trade lines on your business credit, no vendor credit, fleet credit, none of that. Well, fleet credit is less of a concern because of your business, but store credit. So let me save and preview that page. But yeah, that's what I would focus on. And you said you needed credit repaired. Your credit, what would it be? You don't want to explain it here, actually. That's why I said in the describe your request field, if you're looking for credit repair, what I'll do, because you didn't list it here, I already know. I'm already breaking it apart in my head. So what I'll do then is, oh yeah, NAV, good. And the other two are good too. So yeah, what I will do, because you already have some of that, there's some credit established. Because even if you open an account with like a NAV or something similar to it, sometimes that reports just by doing that. But with this, what I'm going to do, Michael, like I'm speaking to myself, is I'll review it even further. I know you didn't filled out some of the fields because they didn't even need to be filled out, because I know that. But here, you said you have an existing business loan. Is it an idle loan by chance? Or PPP? I think you listed it earlier. Just want to make sure. regardless if you have a loan there or not, the fact is that it's 3 months. Ah, okay. I see. See why you said yes there. Okay, makes sense. But and that's a good thing. If it's new personal, that's also a concern. Like, how many total trade lines do you have though on your personal side? New trade lines actually hurt more than they do any good, unless you have a bulk amount of history with those other five or so trade lines that you've already built. Ah, see, that's what I assumed too. But I didn't want to jump completely to a conclusion. I was thinking she had taken something out now. She's still trying to make those payments on that business or not? Is there something deeper? Because if you default too, did you ever default on anything? Nice, 8 or 9. And you said new. How recently new is that? Let me open up this just to make sure. Because your credit itself, it's above a 680, but we look at more than just your credit score. We look at your reporting trade lines. We look at all the strong credit history you built. But anything that's recently too just kind of gives us somewhat of a red flag in some cases. Here, watch. Okay. So this was one example that I wanted to pull from a client that I helped, and they unfortunately didn't get approved. But your situation could be different. If you need credit repair, of course, that's ultimately where we need to start. You can say more to me when I send you the questionnaire, so I'll put it in that email. Like I said, I'm going to put this email together for you in time, and I'll fill it out very thoroughly. Like, it may look like a template, but it really isn't, because I'm customizing it, personalized and customized for you. And this is a way for me being more efficient, energy and time wise. And you're going to look at it and go, that's a little overwhelming. But you'll look at it and go, ah, I really do see why he does it that way. And so I structure it different per person, and I'll customize it, even ballpark numbers for specific services. I'll change a few things in the intro, and I'll make sure that it entails what you have. And the first option is normally the best one. So if it is a credit challenge, there will be a form when I send you this questionnaire with all these options. There will be a credit repair section. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. There will be a credit repair section. In there will be a link. First of all, you want to go, well, you'll read it anyway, so you may not even have to watch the video, but I'll possibly have a video link there so you can go watch it. And in the description of that video, you can fill out the questionnaire for the credit repair, that is. This one's for a different one. And then I just want to make sure that you knew the pricing on it too. I want to be very transparent. I don't want to be that person ever. I've never been that person to say, well, just join this, doesn't matter the cost. No. I had a person the other day who, well, this is on them. This is looks bad on them. It was nothing to do on us. And I spoke to Steve on it, and he goes, you wouldn't imagine what I heard. And he's British, so he has that British accent, and he lives in Los Angeles. Great guy too, by the way. Great guy, as I said earlier. Great guy. And he says, well, we come to find out after accepting payment and going through this credit service agreement and making sure we verify address and stuff, that he looked into his account and he said he didn't have anything, or he didn't have the money for it. And that's just mismanaging your funds. At a point, some people probably get to where they don't even want to know what's in their account anymore, but they want to get their credit repaired or whatever they want, but they just don't get it. Like, how do you not know your finances? I have people all the time who ask me to review their bank statements, and I go, can you at least tell me how much revenue you're generating? Michael, I'll send you this and that. No, can you just tell me, like, what have you deposited versus what's revenue? Because those are two different things. Do you know what your business is making? And it's like, if you're not keeping track of these things, I can go look at it, but it's like, how do you not know? Those are the things you guys got to know. It makes it harder too when you guys try to get funding. Got it. It's for 6 to 7 months. I follow you. Yeah, I can ask a lot of questions about bankruptcies and all else you have included. I could spend a lot of time asking questions on that. I don't want to do that though. We're kind of at the end of this video. I'm going to end it here shortly. But yes, if you do need help with that, then we'll take a look at it for sure. And like I said, again, I'll have that questionnaire taken care of. If not here in a little bit. Like I said, guys, I get flooded. And you guys want somebody like that. You guys want to work with somebody who does get flooded. And what differentiates people from me are things like this. So you just showed up here. It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to do it. I have nice people all the time. Well, I want to do this, and I have people right now who are in my inbox like asking me different questions about something that I'm like, they haven't even done what was asked of them, and they're asking me what now, and it's completely on a tangent, and it has nothing to do, and it has something else, but that I can help with. It's just, why am I getting that answer? Like right here, I see one right here. I understood. Okay. They still didn't address the issue. I had a person the other day who's, I want business credits. Yeah, I sent them my business credit stuff. They've gone through. But I asked them, so what went on with credit repair? They completely avoided answering my question. See, that's a sign of a person who doesn't, it's character, guys. It's all it is. It's the character, it's the foundation. Got it. Yeah, that's a huge jump from there to there. And that fact that you're already at the score you're at makes it more efficient for us to work on. Oh, I could tell you're not. I didn't never jump to a conclusion, even when you told me certain things. But when you started getting into, well, I've had other businesses and done this, I know. I hear you. I don't forget those things. So I think this is where I will end it. Let me actually, while I'm on here, I'm going to reply back to Miss, I'm not going to say her name actually. See, now we're taking one step back. To take two steps forward, that's not a good way of me using my energy and time. It just isn't. Like now I got to give them 2 to 3 different answers. But here, she's just asking how I'm doing, and I already went over this earlier. So you guys, I read between the lines what people don't say. That's what stands out most. I'll get back to you guys in just a second. I have to finish this part. I could have just done this while I was not on video. I don't like people watching me do my work. Does anybody have anything? I'll go to the comments in a second here. It's already 1 o'clock. I gotta close up here soon. So let me view this because I'm sending a client of mine. They need an acquisition, and I just want to make sure I have all the buyer and seller information correctly. It's all here. Let me view the first few comments. Yeah, see, her credit isn't good enough, but I'm gonna still show her. I'm gonna give her this is me giving her the benefit of the doubt because I'm a very considerate person. Do you guys see what I'm doing? Like, I'm very... I think things through. That's it. I don't talk. I don't have to talk. I think them through. That's ultimately who I am. I'm somebody who really thinks things through. I don't have to speak a lot. So here, I'm gonna break it down. I'm just going over the buyer and seller information. It's not that she needs to get it's at this point it isn't a, I like to say, business credit she'll need for that acquisition because it falls on the buyer, on the seller. But she doesn't have the credit. Like, that's just the issue. And the other part of it is, and here, how do I say it? Yeah, I'll put that in the email for her too. So it's also based upon collateral. So I want to look, her situation would be based on that for sure. So here, I need to open up, I'm like opening up 3 different tabs just to make sure I get this done. I'll probably go through a few more emails here and then I'll close up. But, it's not what I needed. Okay, let's go through that one. This person, I don't even know what planet they're on. But here, the acquisition of her business. Exit out of that one. Yeah, I've seen now at this point what I did is I'm repeating to her what I said earlier. Sometimes we need to hear it again. I understand that. But see, we went from here to then here. But she only brought it up once, so I'm okay with that. And it's been quite a few days since we came back to this. But by now, when she gets this email, we need to be here. No more. No more here, here. And I'm not being mean or anything like that. It's just I'm punctual. If I'm gonna do something, I do it. I don't tell you I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Period. So here, I have already said this to her, but I just said it in a different way. And here I just gotta move these pieces. Okay. Boom. Now let me go here into the inbox. So this is like a dead file, guys. Like I'm looking at right now a client that I've been trying to help for so long, and they broke that loyalty, they broke that trust with me. They even come back to help them. They were hanging by a little thread with me because the nerve they had to go do something behind our back, unacceptable. Not even an apology. They were thinking that we had sent them another SBA loan lender that I was trying to help them with. They didn't come from us. So the nerve that he had to say it the way he said it, I think I'm stupid. I'm not dumb at all. Again, this comes back to me doing this every single time, and I know what to look out for. And so here is just a bunch of lies. And here he says, okay, I got that. And he's trying to pay off all their balances, which we spoke about previously. I know what he has. Okay, so that's his issue. I don't know why he never brought that up. See, this is a problem I have with business owners. There's one specific field that does this more than anybody else. Let me go to the comments and see if there's anything first, though. Okay, so this is the problem I have with a lot of people who are in the medical space. Doctors, chiropractors, dentists, any doctor. And not because they're not affluent in the whole business lingo or how to run a business side. It's just, and it's not the communication necessarily, how they say it, but there's always something there that's like, why did they do this? Why did they do it that way? Why did they think about it this way? Now I got to reshape that. Now I got to do that. And it's always this whole like, well, I don't want to do this and I don't want to. Not with all of them, but there are a huge majority that fall into that niche. Or I see it a common theme. And it's not about an ethnicity thing. Sometimes it can be, other times it isn't. But I get situations like this all the time. And I can't do anything more to help them with that. They can't even get an SBA loan. They're likely not to get a bank term loan because they are high in other advances. They need to pay those balances off first, pay them off early. They're trying to take other capital to pay that. See, this is the situation where they can't even surface fast enough with what they have. And the fact that they want to start a real estate business, and I'm sure that's what they were trying to use with the SBA loan, but they never said anything to me about it, or that just recently changed. It's like, see, I won't be able to even do something with their personal side because that to income could be too high. Reverse consolidation, the best thing to do would be to debt restructure. That meaning we can drop their total amount owed by a large percentage, and it's based per case. So this is a situation right now where they won't like my answer. I don't care if they don't like my answer. It's what they need, right? Take away your emotion. This is what you need at this point. Like, I'm a doctor, guys. Think about me like as a doctor. I'm in here looking at the symptoms, but I need to know the diagnosis. I need to be doing my stuff. And by that, I question and I ask and I prescribe. What I prescribe to them is debt reconstructing. I've said it before. I'll say it again. They don't like it, then that's fine. They don't like it. There's a reason that they can't get funding. Why do you think that is? Well, what works for me and what doesn't. Okay, go ahead and rack up inquiries. Feel free to do that. I'm sure if I took you to my personal loan lender, if that's what we could do, they're going to say the same thing. You applied too many times recently. Red flag. Boom. Done. So debt reconstruction, not a reverse debt consolidation, that becomes more expensive. Buying that debt in terms of that becomes very expensive. So I have to then go back to them now and ask them what is the remaining balance on those, because it's changed now over the last 4 to 5 months whenever this person went ghost and never responded back to me. So do you think that it's in my best interest, energy, and time to go respond back to him? Likely not, but can I help him? Yeah. Will they want what I want to help them with? Maybe not. Right? So does anybody have any questions? I'll be shutting down here. And just I gotta go do some stuff on LinkedIn. But this is an email that I don't even like. It's not, you're like, Michael, you're on my schedule already. I already know you're going to be responsive. They're responsive too, but they went, like, it's very disrespectful to me. There's no courteous email or nothing, not even a word. Sometimes when people have the nerve to just go away and then they just never respond. I try to email them once every other week or whenever. It wasn't a lot. There's no response, and I find out they do something that they shouldn't have done. They got disapproved. It's one of those things where you laugh at them. But I don't laugh at people. I don't. I more kind of like laugh in the air where it isn't funny, but it's just like hysterically like, wow. Like, really? And so this here, it's just, like I said, I'm an expert at this stuff. I don't even have to see the business plan for their real estate business or their entity. I don't have to know right now what they're trying to do with this part. I don't have to know that. I know based upon the other factors that they won't qualify for those scenarios. And if they do, they need to do a debt reconstructing situation. It'll lower their repayments by a lot. They can pay it off faster now. Now they don't have any balances that remain. And then that could bring up their credit if they have credit issues now. But this would be a situation only because the bank term loans, the SBA loans doesn't work. The personal loan for sure. But that's still a toss-up in the air. But the thing is here, look, they're trying to start a new business. They want to use it for this. They want to use it for that. Now, if I go deeper with them, I'll know more. Now, here, once I figure out more, then I'll know, okay, like I spoke with somebody the other day, they need to pay off something with their boat, they needed land, down payment, they needed it for this piece of machinery, equipment, a trailer. Him and I spoke very well. And he knew I was listening. Him and I are like the same person. And yes, what I would recommend for his situation is a personal loan, especially if he's a startup in the real estate industry. Like you're going to be using funds to pay off other loans. You can use a personal loan. You can also try to use that to consolidate any kind of cards if you're looking for a refinance situation. But I'm telling you, they're going to come back to me and say, I'm going to ask them, how much money did you need for all of this? Okay. What is your credit score level at? Without me doing a softball, I just want to know where your credit score's at. Okay. Here is the requirements for the specific service that it would work underneath these requirements. Do you meet them? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go send him that email and I'm going to put that service in his face. If he doesn't like it, I'm going to send him the personal funding service. And I'm also sending him the debt reconstruction. I might send him the credit line hybrid, but that may be far out of reach depending on the amount of inquiries he's already racked up. Exactly. Yeah, and I move on from these. Believe me, I do. There have been a lot of people where I just don't even respond back to. I have a client who does 2 million a month. I haven't responded back to him. Exactly. So there's people here who, like I said, there's a $2 million a month client. There was another one for about 100,000 per month, around that range, who they did something behind my back, and I'm like, what did I do to deserve? I didn't do anything to deserve that. You didn't do nothing to deserve it. Like, I thought I communicated with them correctly. It's just the space. It's the industry, really. It could be the product, but more so, it's the character. Again, that's all it is. It's not me who's the issue or the problem. It's the person. And I hate to say that, but it's the honest to dang truth. It's the person. They're a liability to themselves. That's really what it is. If there's any way I can say it, they're not an asset. They're a liability to themselves. And until they wake up and realize that at the bottom, again, it's the character, the person. And these are also the issues that go into their credit. Like you were saying, to do a soft pull. And yeah, I do that, myself and my team, depending on that service too and how we look at it. So when we do a soft approval, and I finally take the time to look through this, and then I can better know. I know what you're getting at by saying that too. That seems to be always the that always seems to be like the last resort. Go get a Capital One card, or go to Capital One. Yeah, I know what you're saying, but yeah, I do tell him he already knows about these. By the way, that's the thing. They know about it, and it's not over. It's not enough to just them knowing about it. And I get it. Everybody's in a different situation. Appreciate you too, Michael, for sticking around for this long. And this is kind of post content from what I spoke about earlier. So if there's anybody else in here, let's just do 30 more seconds because I really do have to get going now. Like, here's the situation now. This is the hardest situation. This here, they can't even get fleet cards, a Capital One card. This is a situation, like, I don't even have to pull their credit. Like, this already knowing their credit level, like, that's all I need to know. Like, if I look at the credit profile, yes, of course, I can give you better direction on what to do. But this here is, it's in a industry like the freight transportation industry, and it's like not already good credit. They're a startup. They don't have business credit established. What they'd like to use their funds for. Mm. I know what they're using. I knew that was going to be what they needed to use their funds for. It's always the case, especially at the startup phase. So what he said, it's very common that I see, and I know how they do these things. But it's a situation where they're going to have to get a credit partner. They're going to have to get somebody who can take on the debt for themselves. If they don't have 401k IRA, they don't want to use it. They don't want to put a home on the line, even at their credit level, still low. So these are people who like just don't want to like hear it, or they're like, okay, thank you, I do want to hear that, because I do get those. They go, yes, thank you. This is what I'll do then. So for their situation, if you're in here watching, by the way, and this is something that kind of aligns with you, then the amount they're seeking for, nowhere close. But they'll have to work on establishing their business credit for sure. And then that can open up doors to fleet credit, gas credit, all that. And then when they're building about 8 or so vendor accounts, then that opens up the door for more like revolving credit limits. And then from there, we're going to be working on their business credit, 1, 2, fixing their personal credit. Those are the 2 we need to do together. No questions about it, period. If they don't like it, they don't have to like it. Again, move on. If they don't want it, okay. But it's an education. See, with me, it's not, you got to do this. You know when you guys get on calls with somebody and they tell you the basics? I don't do that. I do that and a lot more. But I don't spend all the time on a phone call too. And so this has to make sense. And this is the reason why I do not take phone calls. You guys make sense? Does that make sense? This is why people go, well, I want to talk to someone. And let's talk to my questionnaire first. Let's see what that has to say. Now that I look at it all, I go, yeah, while I can, and I like to build that emotional relationship with someone, it's like, I just, this wouldn't be it. Like, this could be, but that's a 50-50. Somebody can tell me, like the other day, somebody I was on a call with, I was supposed to leave earlier. I don't talk a lot, but here I just want to make sure you guys understand this. I was on the call with somebody who has clients. They want to connect me with them. And he's telling me they got 50-50 chance. And I go, even at a 50-50 chance, I'm not taking that. I know too far well in this industry what that means. And they told me that they were already looking around. Okay, they're already looking around. Where have they looked? What have they done? What haven't they? When I have that, I got to tune it together. So even if they're 50-50 that they're going to commit, that's not a chance that I'm still willing to take. Even if it's 80-20, 90-20, I still got to have this form filled out like you have, Michael, and a lot of people before and will after. It's my introvert nature, but at the same time, this is the way everybody needs to do it. Otherwise, you'll be kicking. Like, I have a friend in the SBA who retired. He left because he was sick and tired of these people. He was sick and tired of people just calling in or just trying to request information, never doing anything. And I got it. I'm like, I've understood that. Now, I'm not just the information guy anymore. I'm not just going to be the guy who, markets. I'm the actual business loan broker who does this stuff. Like, I took time away to be here where I could have been reviewing a file and then a few things on LinkedIn. But yes. Exactly. Right on point, Michael. What you just said there is what I know. Like, of course you know I know. And I know you know, based on the type of business that you're running. But also character. And the thing is, yes, it has to do with that. Financial aptitude. I'm not saying they have to be, you don't have to be like the Leonardo da Vinci of finance. But how the hell do you expect to run your business if you don't know your numbers? If you came to me looking for funding, even when you have, like more so when you have a business generating a lot of revenue, you better know your numbers. And what I'm doing is helping you align with your right service, with the right beliefs and what you want to do. But yes, and that's not something I'm bashful of people. It's just everybody's in a different part of their lives. I'm understanding of it 110%. My family and friends, a lot of them are not financially in depth as much as I am. And so sometimes it takes a little bit of tweaking to do something. Yeah, fast cash though. That's it. I wouldn't be able to, of all the people that I emailed back and forth with and have had calls with in the trucking business, not all of them, but yeah, a lot of them are in it for fast money, or it's just like repairs, and then buying more trucks. They're overextending. They don't have the right routes, the right insurance. Cost of insurance is high. Cost of gas, fuel costs. A lot of things go on. They need more. Right now, they need more emergency funds than anything. Since I saw a few people pop in here, I'll give it about 10 to 15 more seconds if anybody has anything. There have been some wrong people in the comments in the past and will continue to. This isn't really a wrong comment, but yeah, I read that. I wasn't going to comment to it too, but I see Michael coming in. Haven't played Grand Theft Auto 5 in a long time, or any of the Grand Theft Autos. My little brother's into like Call of Duty right now. I played it when I went to his place, and I actually had to watch his dog, so I was there on the sticks on the controller. I prefer the PlayStation though than I do for the Xbox. Place your bets, gentlemen. But yeah, there have been people in here, you wouldn't be able to, you probably would know this, but there have been people in here who say the wrong things. There have been people who come in here and go, tell me to say this. Can you say this out loud to everybody? And it was a word that I would never ever use. And I was like, oh man, if they heard me or heard you say that, you would get the kicked out of you. And there would be a lot of things coming down your way. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if there's a negotiation. There's a counter offer. Wait a minute. That field shouldn't have been like that. No, I said maximum 100. I guess they don't take 300 or above 300 if I do that. Yeah, that might be it. Okay. So I gotta go revise those other pages. Okay. Alright, I'll play by your rules, Thrive Architect. So I couldn't raise the character count on that. Let me see if it's shifted. Okay, so I gotta go change that to my other pages too. Save that. Anybody have any questions? I said I would be gone here in a second, but I want to edit this page first and then I'll get going. It's my character count on one of these pages. It didn't let me go above a certain amount. Well, let's see if I have that as the required field still. Okay. So I'm going to update that page, and then I have one more page to update. Save and preview. And I was just thinking again, Michael, back to what you said earlier about people not being honest on their credit. Like so many stories and so many things I've had to go through with people on that. Yeah, a lot. And then especially like their revenue. And when I look at things, I go, that's not what it is. And that just shows that it's either they know or they don't know, but it's nowhere in between. It's like you know intentionally what you're doing or you really didn't know and you get a pass. But it's about credit monitoring. If you don't know what you're building, how do you know? How are you going to build something? If you don't even know how to build your own report and you're trying to build your own business, like it's just gonna come up to you so fast. And I see a lot of people failing their businesses because more of the credit issues than anything. It's a one thing to say you're not meeting your revenue, but you're not meeting your profitability as well. But it's also because of leniency. They're getting comfortable with starting a business with enough is good enough is enough. When you see those, it's like there's an explanation to why. And I don't want to be the one to say it. I don't like saying it. I don't want to say it. Hardly ever do. But there's a reason why you're not getting what you want. Let me refresh this page. Okay. I'm going to read her email. She sent me an email back. It still really didn't answer my questions. See? These are things, you guys, I'm going to go to the comments if there's anything. See, I'm looking for what isn't being said. Like, I'm not dumb. And so, me, amongst everybody, I mean, you can guys go do this to someone else, but with me, I'm like my mom. I fact check everything. My dad and my brother, not saying they don't, but it's just very like, they eat fast, they do things fast. Like, slow it down. I probably am the last person at the table to finish eating because I'm very like no TV, please, nothing. Family, okay, but when I'm eating, I'm very controlled and I'm very like quiet because I'm in my thoughts. I'm in my appreciation for I don't know if I'll ever have a meal again, or I'm so grateful that I have this just a little piece of egg. Like, I get to have a bite of this. Does that mean anything to you guys? Like, the fact that I get to have a bite of this again while other people out there are starving. Other people are not with us physically anymore who can't have these luxuries that we have. You have your own bedroom, your own space, but you guys don't treat it correctly. I think mine is about to, but I haven't seen the battery low percentage. I'm getting there. Okay, for real this time, 30 more seconds. And one thing I want to mention to you guys is this. You don't gotta fit in. Like, stop trying to be somebody you're not. Like me, I don't mind being a team of one, whether it's myself in my personal life, with my family, or with my business partners. Be yourself. You don't gotta fit in and say things because somebody says it a certain way. Be yourself. I'm the oldest of two. I don't have to act for anybody. I'm not gonna pretend to be somebody I'm not. When people don't hear me speaking, they hear me very quiet. They're like, oh, there's that. No, I'm not. I just have the presence and the attitude to know when and when not to. Certain people just don't get that. And so there are moments where I'll speak more, other moments where I'm just very quiet, usually. Yeah, I don't even want to comment back to that. See, this is like a... See, now it's become a, do I really need to email her back on that type of email? See, when I get to that point, it's like, yeah, no. ¿Por qué? Why? Okay, everybody. that will be everything once and for all. If I did miss anybody, I do apologize. You guys got to see a little bit about what I do and just a few extracurricular activities, I guess. But that'll cover everything. For all information, please refer to the bio, the description. There will be all information there provided to you. If you did get value, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with others who you feel will find value from it. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so. And click that bell notification icon depending on where you're watching this later on. And appreciate you. Thank you for the hearts, the likes, the followship, the share if you shared the room. If not, it's okay. I don't really even say that stuff. But appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a great remainder of your day, Friday, weekend. And truly, I say that. Stay safe and secure out there. Continue to grow your business. But more than just growing your business, grow you. Period. No questions asked. Take care. Bye.